Today on Fixing the Money Thing, two Provision Conference experts to help you reach your destiny. First, precious metal expert Michael Arries shares market insights.
Gold and silver are money. They're the actual, real definition of money. It's a store of value. So they go up in price over time. So when we last spoke, gold was $2,000 an ounce.
I know, yeah.
And now it's recently gone over $5,000 an ounce.
And serial entrepreneur Myron Troyer shares marketing tips from his years of successful business.
Why should I do business with you instead of with your competitor? This is the question that we want answered at the end of the day. I've helped a number of companies develop their sales and their marketing. And I've yet to see somebody fail who mastered this question.
Hi, I'm Gary Keesee, and welcome to Fixing the Money Thing. And we are at the Provision Conference. I'm with Michael Arries. He works in the area of financial area, in the area of gold and silver and markets. And he's been speaking specifically in this conference about the gold and silver markets and the economy worldwide. And so, Michael, tell us again, you've been saying something about there's been a huge shift. Of course, we know the shift in prices. And one of the questions I had to ask you was, I've had gold, I've bought it from you years and years ago and keep buying it, but the price just jumped up. I mean, so people are probably wondering, well, they're probably upset they didn't buy it earlier, but why did it do that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Gary, to see where gold and silver are at this point. They have had a huge increase. And we talked about on the show before on Fixing the Money Thing that, we're printing dollars out of thin air. We're creating inflation. And gold and silver are money. They're the actual, real definition of money. It's a store of value. So they go up in price over time as we print dollars out of thin air, which is a currency. And we're just inflating the supply of the currency. So when we last spoke, gold was $2,000 an ounce.
I know, yeah.
And now it's recently gone over $5,000 an ounce. I mean, we're
talking in 12 months, right?
About 24 months. I would say
was it that long?
from early
It seemed like it was
2024
faster.
early 2024 to early 2026. Broke out above 2,000 after being there a long time. Got all the way over 5,000. I mean, to think it's gone up 2.5 times. And is the mainstream media touting gold and saying, hey, everyone should buy gold? No. They're totally ignoring it because it's a warning signal that our currency is bad. So really, there's an impetus on the part of government, the media, to really not want to look at gold, to say, no, you don't want that. But everyday average people like you and me and anyone that just uses the dollar should have some gold, because that's a big increase.
Well, we tell our clients, in my company, we help people learn how to invest and get out of debt. We tell them around 10%, at least they need to own some, because it's like a safety valve. It's like an insurance policy.
Yeah.
But it went way beyond that. I've had it for a while, and it just kind of stayed put, kind of moved around a little bit.
Yeah.
But this year, what precipitated that big move in the pricing?
Yeah. I mean, pricing really finally broke through. Some of it was the technical levels, being kind of stuck under 2,000 for a long time. When it finally broke above 2,100, it was just like the floodgates open and it went crazy. But a lot of the demand, a lot of the buying that has pushed up the price has been from central banks buying and hoarding gold and getting rid of dollars and getting rid of U.S. treasuries. And this is crazy, Gary. This is really crazy. Central banks around the world, they normally have the U.S. dollar as their reserve, as their savings. That's sort of the cornerstone. And it's been that way for 30 years. Before that, they had more gold, maybe since the 70s, but for 30 years, it's been the dollar and U.S. treasuries. As of last year, as of 2025, for the first time, they now have more gold than U.S. treasuries. They're actually dumping the dollar. So central banks around the world, you're talking about Turkey, China, Argentina, different places, they're dumping the dollar and buying gold. And so all this demand is driving up the price of gold, and they're hoarding gold. And they now have more value in gold than the US dollar. And it's like, that's kind of concerning. We have the world reserve currency, but the world doesn't want it anymore. They're trying to move towards what has been a reserve for 5,000 years, which is gold.
So tell me, what kind of effect would that have on our economy?
it's going to create inflation. It's going to create higher prices. So we've benefited in this country a lot from the dollar being the world reserve currency, because the rest of the world needing to use it creates demand for it. So we enjoy the benefit of having a strong currency with lots of purchasing power, even though we have experienced inflation because they print it out of thin air. But if the rest of the world is getting out of dollars and those dollars are coming back, that creates more supply, more inflation, higher prices for us. So, you know, world powers have gone through this. Used to be France, used to be the Netherlands, it used to be Great Britain. Right. And now it's us, and we've spent our time being the world reserve currency. We've sort of squandered our time in the sun. So we're going to go the way that others go. Our currency is still going to be around, but it's not like, you know, the British pound used to be the main currency. Then it was the dollar. Well, now we might go from the dollar to sharing the stage on the world with other currencies, like China's currency or whatever else. So it's going to be less purchasing power for us and more inflation. But that's also, it's a catch-22. It's what our government wants. They want to bring manufacturing back, and we need a weaker dollar to do that. But a weaker dollar means higher prices for us. So back to gold, we should have savings in something like gold and silver that protects value and isn't a currency that's being eroded away.
What do you see as far as the future price of gold? Let's say a consumer out there watching today is thinking, oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
You know, should I buy silver? Oh, by the way, we haven't mentioned silver yet, but should I buy silver or gold, or is it over with? It's going to go back down to 2000.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Is it a good time to buy? Where's it going? So one thing you mentioned, silver. Silver is still a very good buy. Silver is kind of like gold's baby brother. It's more volatile. It has bigger price swings. It goes up even more than gold does sometimes. And it has. So recently we talked about gold going up 2.5 times. Silver in that time period went from $20 to briefly $120.
Oh, I know.
And then now it's, you know, a little bit below 100, but it's like, that's a huge move.
That's a huge move.
Bigger move percentage-wise than gold did. So anyone that bought silver is really happy to own silver.
Thank you. Yeah.
So both have done well. As far as where they're going from here, if we look at past bull markets in gold, Gary, where like in 1980 it got to $850 an ounce. In 2011, gold for the first time got to $2,000 an ounce. If we look at that, those times compared to the money supply, compared to how many dollars are actually out there.
Okay.
Well, now we got to look now, and we've printed tens of trillions of dollars out of thin air since COVID even. If we look at the money supply now, gold to match those previous highs would have to go to 10,000. It's a little under 5,000 now. It can still go to $10,000 an ounce just to match what it's done in the past. And I don't think we're going to underperform what it's done in the past at this point. I think the world is crazy enough, you know, still countries aren't getting along, globalization is breaking down, we're printing money out of thin air, we have 40 trillion in debt as the US. I think it can still not underperform, but at least match or overperform past bull markets. That would look like $10,000 gold and potentially $200 silver. Is
there a time to sell it? I mean, would there become a time that you would say, hey, it's time to take profits and sell?
There probably will be. I think we always want to have a foundational amount in gold that we keep, but when they get to these crazy high prices, it'll be a bigger percentage than you normally have. So yeah, we can scale that back, sell some, take those profits, put it into some other undervalued asset. And there'll be indicators on when it's a good time to do that we let our clients know about.
I was going to say, we people don't know that, but you made a good point. Now, owning gold sounds complex to a lot of people. It's not. So tell us how I know you work with a company that you do this as a living, helping people with their purchases and advising them, but tell them how easy it is to actually participate in owning gold and silver.
Yeah, it's very easy. I mean, you know how it works. It's very easy. So I work for McIlvaney Precious Metals. It's a 50-year-old precious metals brokerage. We ship gold to folks. We can store it at a reputable depository. But it's very easy to do. I mean, you can send us a check or a bank wire. We can ship you gold, or we can put it at a depository. It's a very easy transaction. It's a private transaction. A lot of people want to know, does the government track my gold? But no, it's a private asset that you own. That again is real money, real intrinsic value, and it's yours. You own it.
So the government is not notified of the purchase.
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
And it's sent in the mail safely and insured.
If someone wants delivery at home, they want to keep it in a safe. Yeah, it's insured and signature required.
You mailed me that.
Yep.
Well, that's great. Now, as far as moving forward, how would someone watching actually get a hold of you if they would like to talk? If you have questions, I'm sure you'd be willing to answer those questions.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'm here for my clients. I interact with people directly, so you can call or text me. I'm sure
It'll be on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, you'll put the number. It's 970-459-4611. Call or text me. I will reply to you personally and directly, and we can tailor a strategy for your goals and your needs and how precious metals fit into that. I make everything easy for clients. I really focus on customer service and kind of being there for folks to walk them through it. So.
Well, I know personally you've handled transactions for us for many, many years, but I wanted to bring that to you and give you a little bit of understanding of what's happening when you see the news talk about gold and the pricing. A lot's happening, but the underground phenomenon of the dollar and what's happening in the world economies is what's causing this.
Yeah.
So really you're watching that activity and forecasting what the metals will be doing in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is something gold has done for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Anytime any nations or currencies come or go, gold is always still there as the standard measure of value. And it's no different in our modern technologically advanced economy. We think we're so special, but we're still eroding our currency. We just do it in more sophisticated ways, and we still need gold because of it.
That's right. I believe that. Well, consider that it should be part, not all, but part of your financial plan. And thank you, Michael, for joining us and sharing those thoughts.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it.
We'll continue the Destiny Provision Conference right after this. Your destiny awaits. Write Faith Life now. Call us or find Gary's book, Destiny and the 3 Battles You Must Win to Get There, online at GaryKeesee.com. Step into the life you were created to live. Stop merely existing and find your purpose.
Your destiny is really not about you. It's about the people in your future, in your destiny.
And now, business expert Myron Troyer and marketing concepts that succeed on Fixing the Money Thing.
My name's Myron Troyer. I live about an hour and a half north up in the largest Amish community in the state. And we want to talk today about a subject that has served me well in business. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 3 companies, sold the first 2, still own the last one, which is involved in marketing. And I noticed something back in the 80s when we got started. Anybody remember Yellow Pages? Well, I needed a plumber. And going through the Yellow Pages, there was 3 large pages of plumbers. How do I know who to pick? How do I know who's the best? Biggest ad? Been in business the longest? If they have a bad habit, they just had longer to perfect it. There's a lot of variables. Nothing on those 3 pages stood out to me. Not one thing where I could say, there it is. That's what separates that plumber from the rest. Started thinking about that and realized we've got to separate ourselves from the crowd. You have to. And as time went on, and in today's age, with all the technology, with all the business, with all the opportunities, with the internet, people educate themselves. It is even more important to be able to separate yourself. Separating yourself from your competition. Why should I do business with you instead of your competitor? That's a question everyone has to ask themselves. Because if you can't answer that question in a single sentence, we have a problem. Right now, I'm a national sales manager for an Amish company that produces kitchen cabinets called Trail Cabinet. And we have a saying there, well done is better than well said. It's important that we do it right. You know, it's interesting that 50% of all startup companies are out of business in the first 5 years. That's not supposed to happen that way. If you change nothing, nothing is going to change. I like to say it this way. If you want something that you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. Now, I grew up Amish Mennonite. We have done things the same way for the last 100 years. And their philosophy is if it worked for Grandma and Grandpa, it's going to work today as well. That's no longer the case. That's not how it works. Change is inevitable. Proverbs 18:15 says, wise people want to learn more, so they listen closely and they gain knowledge. See, learning is not automatic. And this is where a lot of people miss it. They feel it's just going to happen. Learning is not automatic. We've got to recognize that our brains are wired for survival, not success. That's a big one. We're always trying to play it safe. That's just the natural way the brain works. If there's two options, and one feels safer, that's what we want to try and go for. All right? Our brains are wired for survival, not success. We need to learn to ask better questions while demanding better answers. So what we did is backed into things. We said, okay, because when we made a decision not to say anything about ourselves, about our family, about our business, unless we could finish it with, and that's the way I want it, we lost half of our vocabulary. So we would back into, we'd say, okay, this is what we want. What word seeds do we need to plant to produce that? And we do that in business even, on the natural end of things. If we want to up our production and go from 300 cabinets a week to 400, we have to look, okay, how much goes into one cabinet? How many minutes go into that cabinet for labor? All right, so we got that. So now we take that times 400. How much plywood goes into each cabinet? Times 400. And you back into it and you come to the front end and say, based on that, we need to work this amount of hours. We need to hire this amount of people. But people will tend to say, okay, we're going to work 9 hours a day rather than 8 because we want to up our production. Think we can do it with one additional employee. Folks, that's shooting in the dark. We also have a saying, if you shoot at nothing, you're bound to hit it. You've got to have a target. So back into it. Do that with your words. This is the harvest we want. Oh, we can't say that because that's not the harvest it's going to produce. And it'll correct your words quickly. Proverbs 15:28, wise people think before they speak. Winston Churchill made a statement that I thought was interesting. He said, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. We do have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly. One of the ways of learning how to learn, we talked about this earlier, learning is not automatic. You have to learn how to learn, Proverbs says. One of the ways is listen. Listen. The future belongs to those who understand that success is not inherited, it is built. The spirit of entitlement is running wild these days. And the day that I learned that nobody owes me anything is the day I took a giant step forward. We are not entitled to success. I'm talking about just from inheritance. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. See, confidence is an output, it is not an input. You have to move. In other words, you don't get anywhere fast in a parked car. You've got to move. You've got to take a step. You've got to leap out in faith. And every time you do that and you follow these laws and you see the results, the confidence builds up. It's an output. The next time, it's a little easier. It's a little easier. Emotion follows motion. You've got to take that car out of park. What you focus on with emotion is what you attract. And there's a lot more to that you could get into, but you focus on something. What happens when you're driving down the road and you see something off to the side that catches your attention, and you look back, and you're left to center? It happens in the natural. It happens in the spiritual. What you focus on with emotion is what you will attract. It's not so much the position you accomplish, but the obstacles you overcome. When it comes to problem solving, those are obstacles. Those are challenges. The only way you're going to solve that problem is if you overcome it. Think about how many problems were solved in society. Think about the wheel. I mean, they used to have what? Square wheels? What was that old TV show? And pump, 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 pump. Flintstones. I grew up Amish Mennonite. We didn't have TV, so I didn't know. The tire was created because of the problem of a smooth drive. The car was created because of a problem of transportation. The truck was created because you couldn't haul enough in the car. Everything was created and developed because of a need and a problem that needed to be solved. Become a problem solver and refuse to quit.
I think you'd agree that was amazing. And I hope you have a lot of notes, because if you're in business or thinking about going in business, you need to know and apply what you just heard. And that was, again, amazing. And so I want to encourage folks to learn and follow those points you made, Myron. You've been in business how many years?
Just about 40 years now.
40 years. I could tell it wasn't your first day out.
No, it wasn't, and we keep learning.
Tell us the importance of the Holy Spirit again in business.
So important to have. The Holy Spirit's our helper. And so when we need to make decisions, to have that extra help, it's almost like insider trading advantage.
It is.
Because you've got the Holy Spirit to guide you and to give you revelation knowledge.
Yeah, it's kind of the unfair, if you will, but
Right.
it's the fair, God's ways, yeah. The unfair advantage, right?
Right.
And the Holy Spirit, and He'll direct your steps. But you did a great job. Again, I want to encourage you to take notes again, and we'll be here tomorrow. Make sure you get on the same schedule. We'll see you tomorrow again here at Fixing the Money Thing.
More from the Destiny Provision Conference next time. The partners and friends of Faith Life Now make this programming and events like the Destiny Provision Conference possible. Thank you for your continued support of this global outreach ministry.
We are at the 2026 Provision Conference. The 2026 Provision Conference. With me is Dan Pilla. It's been a great conference so far. I'm with Michael Arries, right here with Paul Rankin. Paul owns 2 franchises for the Chick-fil-A organization. And with me is Myron Troyer, who just finished a fantastic, that was really good, a great session on how to be above the competition. No stranger to our program, but Dan, of course, talks about business, taxes, everything about the IRS, and today was no exception. He works in the area of financial area, in the area of gold and silver and markets and all that real, high type level of financial planning and those type of things. But he's been speaking specifically in this conference about the gold and silver markets and the economy worldwide. Just finished a session teaching us how to get involved with life God's way with parameters and accountability, and because we want to win. Myron, I mean, that was fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Good.
That's very important to separate ourselves from our competition and to eliminate the fear factor that our clients are tempted to deal with.
And you did a great job exposing that. I think anyone in business should be involved with what you said. And Dan, this, I think, was a very, very good segment for people that are new to business. And it was aimed at that. So tell us just again what that topic was.
Yeah, I talked about the 15 most common problems that small businesses make in dealing with the IRS in general and financial issues in particular.
And so, Michael, tell us again, you've been saying something about there's been a huge shift. Of course, we know the shift in prices. And one of the questions I had to ask you was, why did it do that?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Gary, to see where gold and silver are at this point. They have had a huge increase. And gold and silver are money. They're the actual, real definition of money. It's a store of value. So they go up in price over time as we print dollars out of thin air, which is a currency, and we're just inflating the supply of the currency.
God wants us to succeed. He has a passion, but he asks us to do some things. So we're going to talk today about investing in yourself so you can continue to grow, so you can be a place that people want to come, that you can be an idea fountain that people can absorb from.
I could tell it wasn't your first day out.
No, it wasn't, and we keep learning.
And so I focused on not just new businesses, Gary, but businesses that are existing and running now that don't necessarily understand or are being tripped up by some of the fine points of dealing with the IRS.
Yeah, and that's important to know. But those that feel called to reach those same people and feel that we have that assignment can help us. And guess what? You also receive exactly the same reward we do when we heard Jesus call us, and you respond to that. That is called partnership. And I invite you today to be a partner with Faith Life Now. I am looking forward to having you as a partner, and I, your partner, the same.
Pastors Gary and Drenda Keesee invite you to experience Faith Life Church for yourself. We're excited for you to experience love, community, and the good life. Located on the northeast side of Columbus at 2407 Beach Road in New Albany, Faith Life Church meets in the Now Center and offers something for every age. Join us every weekend for life-changing kingdom teaching, where you can experience love, community, and the good life. Visit our website, GaryKeesee.com, to learn more or connect with us online. Find broadcast schedules, podcasts, service times, events, and ways to get involved. We'd love to hear from you. Fixing the Money Thing is one of the multiple media presentations of Gary Keesee and is brought to you by his Team Revolution partners and the Friends of Faith Life Now.